Hi, everybody. My name is Heather. As you know, this is Crochet the Beginning. This is part 18. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe I have done 18 of these. So, as you can, if you've been here before, then you realize that I'm recording upstairs instead of downstairs. And part of that is it's a little chilly downstairs tonight. So, we're upstairs again. So, I have been absent for, I believe, 2 weeks. Last week I had planned to have a video for you, but things just were not working. So we had to skip it. But this week we are back and we are going to make an adorable little ghost. It's Halloween. What can I say? It's my favorite holiday. So my ghost is pink, mind you. But this is what it look like. I haven't completely sewn mine on so you can see the little things. But this is basically what we're making today. And you can add other little things to it. You can add eyes, you can add a mouth. It doesn't matter. I don't actually have a pattern for this. I haven't typed it up because honestly, I just figured we'd do it together. But I'll try to type it up before this goes live. Yeah, Onyx is playing in the background. She's gotten quite big. She's about a medium size, I believe. If you don't know, Onyx, the little black cat behind us, my husband and I found in the bushes near our home when she was about 6 weeks old. And so um, I have an affinity for black kitty cats. Usually I can't find one that I will say no to. So instead of just being a one cat household, we are a two cat household with two dogs. It can be very exciting. But anyway, back to where we're at. So we're going to make this little ghost today. I promise. It's real quick. It's not going to take very long. All you need for this is a simple little thing. All you need to have is your hook, your crochet hook. I do recommend going down a size. This is what's called agnormi, I believe is how it's pronounced. I'm not 100% sure of it. But basically what it is a soft toy that you have crocheted. They can be fancy, they can be easy, it can be just about anything. Okay. But I figured since it was Halloween, why not make a little ghost? And yeah, you see some markings right there. I was trying to put his eyes on. I failed. I thought I had a black magic marker up here. I don't. You can also take embroidery floss and sew eyes on him and sew his little mouth and eyes. Um, I just don't have black embroidery floss. I am horribly prepared. Um, so we're gonna make this. We're gonna go through step by step. There's a total of 13 rows. No, 14 rows. Sorry about that. 14 rows, and then you make the center. All you need to know how to do in order to make this is a magic ring, single crochet, slip stitch, and a half double crochet, and you need to sew. That's it. So all you need is a little bit of white yarn or whatever color you want to make your ghost. Okay. I had pink on hand. I don't normally keep white because I don't usually work with it. We are probably, I think the next one I think I'm going to make out of orange. If my husband doesn't watch out, I may have a whole thing of ghosts by the time he gets home tonight. um, Onyx has been playing with my orange yarn. If you notice that, yes, this is the same orange that I used to make my shopping bag. We all reuse things around here. And yes, I do have enough pink left that if I wanted to, I could make it out of pink. I don't want to. I have one pink one. I don't want to make another one in the same color. So, um, basically all you need in order to create this, if you want a face, then you need embroidery floss, felt. You can use embroidery floss to sew his face on. You can use a black marker to draw his face on. If you have felt, you can use felt and then glue it on using fabric glue, super glue. Um, the possibilities are kind of endless. But, and yes, the orange cat's toast. He's just running around. Um, the possibilities are kind of endless on what you want to do with them. I've seen some people where they put emoji faces on these and then they have a whole set of them. Um, I have never been good at making multiples of things. I tend to make it once and then I'm kind of, you know, done with it. I do apologize for the kitty cats in the back. Apparently, 8 p.m. is Onyx's playtime. I didn't realize that. She's never done it before at 8 p.m. So, we are going to do this. So, let me get the camera flipped to where you can actually see what I'm doing on my hands, and we'll get started with it. So, I hope you're excited. So, get your white yarn, whatever yarn colors you want, because this is just basically an introduction and learning technique. That's it. So, I will be right back. Okay, so now we're back. And like I said, we are making this today. So all you need is your hook. I'm using a 4mm G hook. Ooh, the camera's working today. So this is the problem. Last week it wasn't doing it. Pair of scissors. Your tapestry needle. You don't have to have a stitch marker, but you can. And I find it's easier to remember where I start when I have. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Halloween nails, courtesy of KJC Nails. I'll put the link to her below. Um, these are the stitch markers that I recommend with crochet. You do not want crochet stitch markers that you can't either open or slide off. So this is a plastic safety pin kind that we've talked about before. This is a safety pin bulb type. If you can see that. But this kind is my favorite for crochet. If you can see, it's a spiral. And so you just slide it in your stitches, you know, just here, we'll do it on the end. You just slide it in your stitches and then wrap it around. And it's there. That's actually what's holding the base of my ghost on, is just those, nothing fancy. And to take it off, you just slide it out back the opposite way, and boom, you have your whole thing. These are the 3 kinds that I recommend, because you always want to make sure when you are crocheting your stitch markers, you're able to take them off, because you will run into the point of where you will accidentally forget. And then if you have those plastic round ones that are just the whole circle, get you some pliers, because you're going to have to snip them in half to get them off. And nobody wants that. So these 3 are the type that I recommend. And I'll be point blunt. You can get upset with me all you want. I buy some of my non um, necessitated supplies from like Timu, Sheen. Yes, I realize they're made in Japan, they're cheap. I understand that. I fully believe in buying locally, but the problem is when I can get 1,000 of these babies for $6 when I go local and it's $6 for maybe 50. I go through these a lot because when I knit or crochet, I'm a firm believer in putting stitch markers in everything. So any place there's an increase or a decrease, or I'm supposed to do a special stitch or a pattern repeat, I put these in so I know where I'm at. I put one of these in. You can use any one of these three for knitting also. I just tend to use this one a lot. When I die and whoever goes through my house, I can guarantee you they're going to find so many of these in my couch, in my car, on my floor, under my couch, around my bed. They're probably going to be able to supply two or three knitters. Okay. It is so bad that my husband bought me this stitch container that is actually a milk container. You're supposed to be able to drink out of it, but no. I have a thing for stitch. Okay. I just do. And he bought me this with the sole reason to fill it full of stitch markers. And the bad thing is, I'll probably go through them in about 6 months between all the projects that I'm working and whatnot. These, this one, these were 99 cents. They came in this whole package, and they're just, I usually use these on my finer knits when I'm knitting with lighter, little, smaller yarn, real thin yarn. Um, oh, there they are. These, we have a household of medications in this place. All of that, you see all those? All of these were like, these are metal. These aren't plastic. These are actual coated metal. These were like $1, I think, for this whole entire set. I'm sorry. I love supporting local businesses, but your girl here has to shop on a budget. Do I want to spend money in getting the yarn I want to work the yarn? Or do I want to spend the money buying the notions? Honey, I'd rather have the yarn. I'm sorry. Now, I do not scrimp when it comes to my tools. Okay. I do not scrimp when it comes to my crochet hooks or my knitting needles or anything like that. Okay. This baby right here, this is a G hook streamline from Furls. You see the awkward, not necessarily awkward, but you see that shape and you compare it to this one. This one's easier for my hand to hold for long times. This right here, I think, is about a $30 to $40 crochet hook. I have several of them. I don't have them in every size. I wish I did, but I don't have the money for that. I'm the person who will sit here and spend 30 bucks on a knitting. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. I'm the person who will sit here and spend $30 on a knitting needle because it's comfortable. That's me. Okay. So your tools will make a difference. Okay. If you're just starting out, sure, go buy your Susan Bates, whatever at Walmart. Like I said, it works when you're starting out. It's fine. They're serviceable. They will work. I still have my Susan Bates that I used to use all the time. I still use them every now and then, but the ergonomic works better for my hands. I don't skimp when it comes to my tools. I try not to skimp when it comes to my yarn. Sometimes you have to when you want to do the craft. Okay. I don't have a problem working with synthetic yarn. I don't see it as being a bad thing. The majority of my work is synthetic just because of ease of access and cost. I want to do my craft. So if I can only afford synthetic yarn, we're still doing the craft. So, like I said, sorry, I got off on a little tangent there, didn't I? I do apologize. Okay, so all you need for this is some worsted weight yarn, which I have just cotton here, but you can use acrylic, you can use wool, you can use whatever you want. A knitting needle, I recommend a stitch marker, scissors, and your hook. Okay? Like I said, all you need to know how to do is to make a magic ring, magic circle, and I'll go back over that with you again. Hold on just 1 second for me. Oh, the kids behind me are having a conversation. Okay. Yeah, you have a dish. I have a dish towel because my table thing is this for the top of my table, and my camera doesn't like it. It doesn't like looking at it and then me showing you how to do things. It just doesn't like it. Okay, so to make a magic ring, it's simple. You've done it before. I will put the link below to the cheat sheet that I sent out to everybody. I'll put a link below for you. So make a magic circle, take your hook, chain one, give her one more chain. Now we are going to put 6 single crochets, okay, in this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, do not crochet over this end piece. If you're getting close like I am, pull it a little. Don't pull it all the way. Make sure you still have a loop right here. So wait a minute. Now I forgot where I'm at. So let's go back. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now the magic happens. Yay, magic. Sorry. Pull the loop close and pull it tight, but not tight enough to break the yarn. Okay. Now come around here and join into the first stitch, and these are going to be tight. They are not going to want to cooperate. Okay. This first round is always the hardest. And if you're like me, there we go. You always make that first stitch very, very tight for some reason. No matter how many times you sit here and tell yourself, Loosen it up. Loosen it up. No, we have to tie it tight. Okay, make a single crochet. And yes, it's just as tight coming out as it is going in. Oh, that didn't work. These are tricky at the beginning because you do need to make it so bloody tight. See right there, I just tried to make a slip stitch and that's not what we need. So we're taking the slip stitch out and we want a single crochet. Okay. So now here's where the stitch marker comes in. You see that stitch that we just made right there? Okay. Put your stitch marker in there. That tells you where you started because right now we're just working in a spiral. Okay. That's all we're doing right now. So now what I want you to do is all the way around and every stitch that we have, which there should be 6, I want you to put 2 single crochets in it. So that way when you're back at your stitch marker here, you have 12 total stitches, okay? This is going to be a little tight. It's not going to be comfortable. If you find that you cannot do it at all, then it is too tight. Oop, that didn't work. Hold up. Okay, if you find it's too tight, then redo it to get it just a little bit easier for you. It shouldn't be like mine where, you're actually, fighting with everything to get it to work. But again, I crochet very, very tight, or even having issues with that in the crochet along that I'm doing, which I'll try to show you the overstory crochet along that I'm working on. I'm not done. We're only on clue 2. This sucker's going to be big. So, like I said, we're just going around and doing 2 crochet in each stitch. As much as I like that one, we're going to see if this one works a little easier. My furls are beautiful for blankets and, long haul stuff. But when we're doing close and dirty work, not dirty, but close and nitty gritty like this, sometimes the furls don't work as well. Okay, I'm on my last one right here. Now you can take the beginnings of this, of what I'm doing right here, and you can create just about toys. Um, you can create dolls, you can create just about anything. When people are showing you crochet toys, this is what they all start out with pretty much. This is it. This is the honest to gosh. This is your starting point. You see all those wobbles around on the stores and all that you're paying 20 some odd dollars for the kit that has everything. This is what you're doing. This is exactly right here. This is what they're starting you with. You are learning how to do this basic work right here. And that's it. Okay. So basically, I'm giving you a free lesson on how to do wobbles or any kind of designs like that. And I'm doing it for free. All you have to do is purchase your yarn. I'm not asking the 25 to $30 that you're seeing these for. You're getting it for free. I'm a deal. Okay, so now that is round two. Okay, and if you look at your circle here, you'll see here's round one, here's round two. Okay, so the way the circles go, you have, as with any circle, it has to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so on like on this one, hold on just a second, I forgot my pointer. Yes, it's a stitch marker, stitch holder. Okay, this is round one that we did with the magic circle. Now this is round two that we just did. So all we're basically doing right now is we're just making the circle bigger. Okay. And then when we get the circle of the size that we want it, we stop and just naturally, I'm sure there's a scientific word for it. I don't know what it is. Science was not my forte. I'm a creative girl. I'm not your scientist girl. You want science, I'm not your girl. Sometimes I think if you want math, even though I have a background in accounting, I'm not that girl either. But as you go and you just continue down and continue crocheting the same number of stitches around, you create the round, the circle, three-dimensional circle, sort of like, okay? The tube, the ended tube. Now, don't get a dirty mind, okay? Yes, you can create dirty things with this. That's not what we're doing. So, mind out of the gutter. Okay, so we have to increase again, okay? And there's a scientific rule on telling you how you do it and the number of stitches you have to have per round to get it bigger. And again, I'm not the scientific girl. I have to look up how to do circles every single time I have to make a circle, okay? All I know is that if you start out with 6, it goes 6, 12, 18, 24, and then 30. That's the whole number listing that you go here, okay? But there's also different ways that you have to do them. Because if I sat here and go and added, you know, did all my increases in one area, I'm going to get a ruffle. I'm going to get a wave. I'm not going to have a nice, smooth, you know, tube like this, which is what we want. So for this next round, remember, we're back here at our stitch marker again. So go ahead and take that stitch marker out. Now, in order to put the increases in equal spots around the circle, so that way it's an evenly distributed increase, we are going to go with 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. That's our increases, 2 single crochets in the same stitch, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochets in the next stitch around. So let's go ahead and start that. So I'm going to do 1 single crochet in this first stitch right here. And since that is my beginning stitch, I'm going to go ahead and stick a marker there. So that way I know when I get back to it, that's where I need to be. Okay. So now I need to do an increase. So we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this next stitch. So 1 and 2. Okay. That's your whole entire repeat all the way around is 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets, and so on and so forth. So the next stitch will be a 1 single crochet, and then the next stitch will have 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets. Ah, I missed a stitch. These are going to be a little difficult, and part of that is because you want that tight stitch. Okay, which is why you go down usually one or two hook sizes when you do these, is because you want that stitch to be tight, because you're going to fill this with polyfilling, yarn, cloth, scraps, toilet paper, paper towels, you name it. I recommend polyfill. Okay, so now I don't know, I don't remember. Am I supposed to do a 2 or a 1? And I've already messed up. I don't remember where I'm at in my pattern, in my repeat. So what do? I look at this, and can you see those stitches? You see this one has 2 in it, and then this one has 1, and then, uh-oh, that one was supposed to have 2 in it. I messed up. So, well, we didn't mean to pull it out that far. Pull the stitch back out. Put your hook back in. So yeah, if you can tell, you can look and you can see that there's only 2 things of yarn right here, 2 strands of yarn. There should be 4, like there is in this one. Okay, so I messed up right there. So this one needs to have another one, and then 1, and then 2, and then 1, and then 2. Ah, and then 1, and then 2, and that last stitch right there. 1, 2. Okay, now since I did mess up there, this is a time and place where I would like to go, well, I want to go back and count my stitches. And I know that there is supposed to be 18 stitches on this round, okay, on this spiral. Okay, so all I do is I make my loop bigger so I don't have to worry about my yarn coming out. Also make sure I have enough spare. So then all I do is, do you see these V stitches right here? See those V stitches? And leave it to me. I have to find a pointer that has the same color as my yarn. Let's try this one. Yeah, it's better. See, there's one leg and there's the other leg. Okay. So you count those legs all the way around. Now, you know this is your first stitch because that's where your stitch marker is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I have 18, which is exactly how many I need to have. Okay, so now we're ready to do the next round. So put your thing back, put your hook back into your yarn, take out your stitch marker, and then the next increase round, because we have another increase here, is, well, we have to scientifically, again, I don't know the whole math or the science behind it, but to evenly distribute the stitches, this time we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. Okay, so go ahead and make a single crochet in the next one. Since that is your first stitch, go ahead and put your stitch marker in, and then another single crochet in the next one, and then 2 in the next one, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in that next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the next one. If you notice, if you start to notice, you see how that's curling just a little bit? You see how that's curling right there? Don't worry about it. It's fine. It'll straighten out. I promise. 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the next one, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet in that last stitch before your stitch marker. Okay, so this is what it should look like right now. Sorry about that. Toast is coming to say hi. This is what it should look like right now. We have one more row of increases. So now we did 1 stitch in between increases, 2 stitches in between. You see a pattern. The next one, we're going to have 3 stitches in between the increase stitches. Okay? So, like always, take your stitch marker out, put 1 single crochet in that first stitch, add your stitch marker back. If you are comfortable with remembering where your starting point is, you don't have to put the stitch markers in. I, for one, am not that comfortable doing it. I have wound up messing them up so many times that I just take the extra seconds and do that and put the stitch marker in. Okay, so there's 1 single crochet in the next, single crochet in the next, and then we increase in the next stitch. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then increase in that next stitch, and then 3 single crochets. I'm sorry, 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochets in the next one, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, just like we have been doing. and then 2 single crochets in that next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochets in that last stitch before your stitch marker. Okay, so now your circle looks like this, and I'm going to show you how to count your rounds. Okay, this right here is where you started. That's the very center. So this is 1. This next row here is 2. And this next row is 3. This next round is 4. And this last round is 5. You have increased your circle 5 times. Okay? Now, here's where the fun starts. This is done for a total of 5 rounds, and then you start building your tube down. Okay? All you have to do to build that tube down is just keep crocheting in every stitch around, and just keep doing that until it numbers 13 from the very top. So see, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay? So we're going to work the first round together, and then I will ask that you pause this, get your 13 rounds done, and then we'll be back. So, as normal, as we have done for the last 5 rounds, my nails get out of the way. Take out your stitch marker, single crochet into the very first stitch, put your stitch marker back in, and then single crochet in every stitch around. It's not going, the issue I always have with this is I'm like, okay, it's not going to form a cup. It's not going to form anything. It's just going to stay flat. When I tell you, you don't notice it happening, you don't notice it's happening. Um, when I first got the hang of it, it shocked the daylights out of me when it all just kind of curved up and said, poof, here I am. So we are just single crocheting around. You're not increasing, you're not decreasing, you're not doing anything at the moment. Just single crocheting. And when you make toy stuffies, single crochet will either become the bane of your existence, or you will get to where you enjoy doing it. Because honestly, single crochet is most of the stitch that you use when you're making soft toys. And that's because it is the stitch that is creates the smallest hole in between stitches. And so that way you don't have to worry about your polyfill leaking out. Okay, so there, I've done 1 round. And if you notice, it's already curling. Don't know if you can tell, but it is, get my hook out of the way. It is already curling. Okay, so now what I want you to do is this was 6 rounds. This was the 6th round right here. What I want you to do is keep doing that until you get 13. And remember, you can count them by counting the number of rounds that you have, okay? So, pause the video here. I will be back when my 13 are done, and I hope you'll be back with me. Okay, so hopefully you have gotten 13 rounds done, as I have. You have what looks suspiciously like a little hat, okay? So this is basically what it should look like. Nothing too crazy or fancy. Okay, so now here comes the hardest part of this, okay? I promise this is the hardest thing, okay? It is just knowing what the front loop is and what the back loop is, okay? So I'm going to explain this to you right now. Okay. You see where my needle is stuck through, okay? And you see this V shape that we always talk about, this V right here, okay? When a designer sits here and tells you front loop only or back loop only, this is what we're going to be talking about. The front loop is always the loop that is closest to you, okay? So this is your front loop right here, okay? The loop that is the farthest away from you is always going to be your back loop, okay? So this next round that we are going to do, I need you to remember what is your front loop and what is your back loop, okay? So now we are going to put this little ruffle right here on our ghost, okay? And all it is, this is one of the few times that you are actually going to use a stitch that is not single crochet in a stuffy, okay? You don't do that very often, okay? So take your stitch marker out. Okay, now put in the next stitch right here, you're going to be putting a half double crochet. So wrap your hook and then stick your hook into the front loop, okay? So you can see that right here is the back loop, right here, and this is the front loop, okay? Now I want you to make 3 half double crochets into that front loop. So 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is going to get all poochy. It's going to be wide open. Don't worry about it. These were the same exact way, and they close in, okay? So don't worry. It's okay. Okay, now go ahead and stitch your stick marker back in that first half double crochet that you did. So that lets you know that's where you started, okay? Now, in this next stitch right here, I want you to insert your hook into the front loop only, grab the yarn, and do a slip stitch, okay? And then in the next one, do 3 half double crochets in the front loop only. And then do a slip stitch in the front loop of that next stitch. So we're going to do 3 half double crochets in the next one. So let me show you again, very slow motion. You'll take your hook. This is this is my next stitch right here where my thumb is. You'll go in and go in between the top loops, okay? And then do 3 half double crochets. And then in the next front loop, you'll do a slip stitch. And then 3 half double crochets in the next front loop. If you're having issues getting your front loop, the way that I recommend doing it is, if you're going through both of them, you kind of go kind of horizontal. Okay. Well, what I tend to do when I just need the front loop is I tend to tilt my hook just a little bit up. So that way when I'm going through, it just kind of goes up in between the 2 stitches. And then 3 half double crochets. And then a slip stitch in the next one. And then 3 half double crochets again. And then a slip stitch in the next one. And then 3 half double crochets in the next one. And you're just basically going to do this entire repeat all the way around, and you should end with a slip stitch when you get back to your stitch marker. I'm so used to doing single crochets, I keep trying to do a single crochet instead of a slip stitch. Sometimes you will find these soft toys are made using half double crochets instead of single crochets. Um, and that usually is because the designer is wanting I guess you might say, a fluffier looking uh, item. I personally like half double crochets because it looks bulkier. There's less of what looks like space in between them. But it can also affect your yarn usage and how much yarn you use. So if your project is calling for single crochets, but you decide to do half double crochets, I would make sure you have excess yarn. Okay, because doing a half double crochet uses more yarn. I just did a single crochet, uses more yarn than single crochets. That extra wrap will use yarn up. And I don't recommend using cotton for this because cotton is a little bit difficult to work with somewhat. It is tough. It's pliable, don't get me wrong, but it is tough and it doesn't always want to curve and bend to how you want it to do. I like cotton for the durability, especially if it's stuff that I'm going to be taking out and putting in, frogging it, redoing it. I just did a single crochet and I need to do a slip stitch. Um, I don't mind making my stuffies out of it. I call them stuffies. I don't call them agamari, whatever. I call them stuffies. It's easier for me to figure out how to pronounce. Um, but it gives your hands a workout. And I don't know, your hands may be kind of like mine. If you're doing this out of cotton leftovers like I am, then your hands may be sitting here going, I'm a little sore now. Mine are. But it all works. Okay, so this is the last one. And slip stitch. You can take your stitch marker out now. And looky there. You just made a part of the top part of a ghost. Okay, so take your yarn, snip it, pull it out. Now it's going to go tuck down in there. Okay, now I'm going to take this one apart because I haven't stuffed this one. I haven't done anything with this one, but attach it together. And I'm just going to give you a quick, brief little rundown of what you need to do to make the bottom. And then I'll come back and we'll put everything together. So this is the bottom, okay? All it is basically round 1 through 5 again. So we're going to go through and do this all together again. So don't worry, I'm not going to leave you floating in the boat. Um, so all you need to do is watch this, but if you want to skip ahead, you can always come back to it. But I'll have the pattern written out below. So all you'll have to do is go off the pattern, or you can go back to when I started this and just redo rounds 1 through 5. Okay. That's all you have to do. So I will be back once I get mine done here. Um, so give me just a second. Okay. So as you know, I have not put this one together. I'm running out of time before JR gets home, so we're gonna put this one aside and we're gonna finish with the pink one since I still have these two and I haven't put them together. Okay, so first thing I want you to do is turn this one inside out. Okay, you should have 2 ends on it. We're gonna take care of those right now. So take your sewing needle, and for some reason on this pink one, I left a ginormous length of tail for the beginning. Thread your needle. And like I said before, see where your yarn is coming from, and then weave this end. And it's going to be a tight fit because remember, we made these tight because we don't want the holes. Okay. Once you get that in, you don't need to worry about snipping this off because it's all going to get hid anyway. So then what I want you to do is take the one that's down here at the bottom and thread your needle. And then weave it in. Now, the amount that you weave in is going to vary depending on what you're going to use your toy for. If you're giving it to a child, then yes, weave in every single little thing a million times. Okay. So once you have that done, what I want you to do is turn it back inside, back right side out. Stuff those down there. It helps with the padding, I promise. Okay. Now take your end piece. Make sure, take your end piece. You should have two edges on it also. And I don't know if I've left a long enough tail. And if you don't, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We can fix all that. Weave in your magic circle tail. Basically, unthread your needle while you do it. Yeah, because see, this video is already an hour and 2 minutes. And although we're going to do a whole project, that's still a little long. I'm going to have some fun editing this one. But that's okay. Okay. So now take your tail that you have, thread your needle. Okay. Now, if you look at the inside of your thing, you're going to see you have all these loops that are free floating in the back here of the back loops that you did when you did this. That's where you're going to sew this in. So you go up, pull it in, go down into the next stitch over, and sew. And do this all the way around. Until every stitch has been connected with the one across from it. Now, as you can tell, I'm going to run out of yarn, but that's okay. Also, another little tip that I can give you when you start to make all of these, if you will look at the tip of this needle, you will see that the edge end is bent. It's curled up. That makes it easier to pick up your stitches as you go around. If you need to, you can bend down your ruffle to see your stitch easier, if that makes it easier for you. And I'm just about to run out of yarn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in this last back loop, pull it tight, and then I'm going to weave it down towards the center, and then leave it there. And then I'm going to take my ball. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me just a second. This is where you get into the problem of when you're trying to keep track of everything and you fail. So what I want you to do is cut off a length of yarn. This is if you are ran out of yarn like I did. Oh, excuse me. Snip it. I have a delivery coming. I'm sorry. Have problems threading your needle. Oh, there's one other thing that I want to stop you here because I forgot to tell you something. If you are putting eyes, if you are sewing eyes, nose, anything like that, do that. Oh, sorry. Do that before you put this piece on. Okay. That will make it a lot easier to do when you have access into the bottom down there. I am just going to get a permanent marker and decorate mine that way. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick up some stitches and weave my way back to the front of where I dropped off my stitch. Okay. And now I am back on track. This is the last one that I did right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and do it again just to make sure, even though I don't worry about my stitches slipping, I'm just going to do it just to make sure that everybody is cohesive. Okay, so then I must move to the next stitch, grab the next back loop, pull through. Okay, you don't need to stuff him yet. We'll get to that here in just a few minutes. And do this all the way around. Until you get to where you have like half an inch from the beginning. I think my husband bought me food because I messaged him while I was working, told him that I was hungry and I didn't know what I wanted to eat. And so I have a sneaky feeling because he just sent me a message and said I'm supposed to have a delivery around 9:48 and it's 9:39. So something tells me my husband has ordered food for me, which that is a normal thing he does because he knows I will forget to eat. I'll either forget to eat or I will just figure it's too much of a hassle and I won't eat. Don't worry, I eat. You may find that it's easier to stick your finger in between them and stick your fingers down in the hole to get your stitches. And don't worry if you flatten this or anything, because when you stuff it, it's all going to pop back out. Okay. Oops. Just keep repeating, going under the stitches and under that back loop around until you get to about, I would say, give yourself at least a couple fingers width um, to make sure you can get the stuffing in there. So honestly, I am just about at that point. Yeah, I'm going to call that good on getting to get my stuffing in. So you should have a little hole like that. So I'm going to be right back because I got to go get my marker and get my polyfill. And this is just stuffing. You can actually even stuff this with cotton balls. Okay. It's not a big, huge thing. So I'll be right back. Okay. So apparently I was crazy and I took all my polyfill downstairs. So we're going to do this on the fly. I have a paper towel. This is polyfill stuffing. Pretend, okay? It's not horrible, but basically just stuff it in the hole. Mind you, yours will be a lot easier if you have polyfill, but you can do it with a paper towel. You can do it with cotton balls. Not that big of a deal. Basically, all you want to do is get it in there, which that almost does the whole entire. If I had another paper towel, I would have it. All you want to do, I have some other stuff. Yes, in this household, we will stuff it with anything and everything we can. Okay? I got a package earlier, so this is part of the packing. Guess what, though? It works. I am not giving this to a child. I am basically not doing anything with this other than showing you. Okay? If this is just going to be decoration in my house, then yeah, I'll stuff it with whatever I can find. But what you're looking for is basically to stuff it to where it's firm but still soft. Now, mind you, it's going to be a lot softer if you use polyfill, just because polyfill is just cotton. If you have excess yarn pieces, that's just about exactly right. It's firm, but yet it's still soft. So then all that you have to do is take your needle, grab it, and just continue doing what you've been doing all the way around. Make sure all that stuffing gets stuck in there. Okay. And just keep going around. And yes, my delivery was food. My husband bought wings for me. I have to eat a high protein diet. And so sometimes getting enough protein is an issue for me. So, yeah, I eat a lot of protein rich food. And the wings, we get wings from Papa John's, and we don't get them sauce. We just basically get them however they make them, which I think they bake them. I don't think they fry them. Um, and so he just got me unsauced wings with ranch dressing. So that way he knows that, because he knows I'm going to eat them. If food's in front of me, I'll eat it. The problem comes in when I have to make it myself. Okay, so there. It's actually a little too stuffed, but that's okay because the polyfill will be a lot easier to manipulate around. Okay. Okay, so now we've closed up all the holes and we have basically a flat bottom here. All I want you to do now is just take your needle and weave it in to that last round of single crochets. Okay? And sometimes you get a little knot like I did. Just undo it. I always go backwards a couple stitches. To me, I kind of make the thread have a maze before it can get back out. Then snip it close, and your ghostie's done. Okay? Now, where is it? I remembered my magic marker. Okay, I already started one eye right here. So we're just going to take that. It's the only time I ever mark on my yarn. And I'm going to make a smile right there. Now you can sew this on. You don't have to do it like I am and using a magic marker. If you're giving this to a child, definitely sew it on or make a magic marker. Don't leave it to where any child can get a hold of it. So there, you have, in my case, a pink ghost, and you're done. You can put a loop up here and use it as a hanging. To use it as hanging, you can just set it on your counter. You can make taller ghosts. Just continue down, adding stitches, adding rounds before you do this part. Like I said, I'll have the pattern down below in the link section for you. I hope you have enjoyed this. This video is about an hour and 18 minutes. So I think this may actually be the longest one I have ever made on here. But that's okay. I hope you have enjoyed making your little ghost. And that is all for this week. And we will see you next week when I'm not exactly sure what we'll do. If you want me to continue teaching you how to make stuffies like this, then we can do that. I will be upfront with you and tell you that I do not design stuffies. This is not my area of expertise to do. I make shawls, blankets, dish towels, dishcloths, things like that. I don't do anything beyond this. Okay. But there are plenty of designs out there that you can make foxes, you can make dogs, you can make cats, you can make baby dolls, you can make dinosaurs, you can make dragons, you can make wings, you can make smiley faces, you can make almost anything. There are patterns out there that'll do it. If you find a pattern that you want or that you think would be a good one for us to do, send me a link to it and I'll look at it. And who knows? We may decide to do it together and we'll just go through it step by step. just like the pattern does. Okay, so have a wonderful week. Keep crocheting, and I'll see you next week.